Welcome back to the playoff edition
Let's
of
go.
the Purple Rain podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome back to episode 220 of the Purple Rain podcast. The come on now, the Ed Reed episode.
Let's
How
go.
how could it not be the Ed Reed episode of the Purple Rain podcast? And yes, it is the playoff edition of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank you all for coming through this episode. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter at Sundef. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. Most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. Go on there, get yourself something nice. Go treat yourself, go treat somebody else. Use code PRP for 20% off your whole order and free shipping. Actually, is the Kim Herring episode too, 2000 Raven as well. So I should mention that as well. But yeah, playoff edition. We are here. We made it. We know who we're playing. I'm excited. You're excited. Roosh is excited. Black Daniel's excited. Hell, Hodog. I haven't seen Hodog in forever. Like last time Hodog was in here, like a lot has changed.
I
Like
know.
probably we were talking about like Lamar doesn't have a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back, Hodog. You have
What
been
up, Hodog?
missed. You have been missed big time, man. But thank you for everybody coming through to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. You know what we're going to talk about today. You know what time it is. We all know what time it is. Playoff time. Sutton, talk to me. How are you feeling?
Man, I am feeling oddly optimistic, to be honest with you. It's this time feels different. This one feels different, than all the other seasons that we've had success in recent years, because how locked in this team seems. And we're gonna get all into that. How Lamar Jackson seems like he has got a one-track mind for the Super Bowl. These coaches are saying all the right things. Roquan Smith is out there looking like a player and a coach at the same damn time. I love that, right? But we're gonna get into all that. But again, big shout out to you guys for joining this episode 220 of the Purple Rain podcast. Appreciate each and every one of you guys listening to this video right now or watching this video. We really do appreciate that. It's playoff time. We made it, right? You guys remember from humble beginnings in the preseason when we're talking about our predictions. Is it a no excuses year for the Ravens? What is Lamar going to do under the Todd Monken offense? What is that going to look like? Is the defense going to still remain true? All that came to fruition. We are here, right? AFC divisional round. We had the first round bye. And it's even more impressive to get the first round bye nowadays that only the 1 seed gets it. Remember, it used to be the 2 seeds, the 1 and the 2 seed, but now it's only the 1 seed. We're in that spot right now. So very grateful, very excited to say the least for Saturday. But let's go ahead and see what the Rain gang is feeling right now. I see we got a bunch of people in the chat already. We got Oscar in here, says, what's up, y'all? What's going on, Oscar? Another shout out to Hodog, says, love to y'all. Love to you too, brother. We appreciate you for coming through. J1213 says, we back. That we are. My guy Max Offit is in the house. Mystic Max is in the house. Says, let's go, Vince. You already know what it is, Max. Thank you for coming through. Cheek in the house. That's my guy. Purple Rain Pioneer says, I believe it's going to be Bills versus Ravens in the AFC Championship. Hey, I mean, I hope so. Kodak voice. Black Daniel says, please be sure to hit that like button. Yes. You guys listen to Black Daniels here. He's spitting the truth. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We'd appreciate that too. Mod Rouge is in the chat. Big shout out to Mod Rouge. Much respect to Mod Rouge. As playoff time will have me tweaking, bro. I'm already tweaking. It's not even Saturday yet.
It's bad. It's bad right now. I need this game to get here.
Yes. We're very close though. We're very close. Got our guy Dre in the building. Says, what's up, Purple Rain gang? What's going on, Dre? Appreciate you for pulling up, popping out. Let me see. Let's see. Black Daniel says, I can't bang with the folks acting like the bye week we earned was a bad thing. Stop being weird, fam.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Sure.
Because if we don't have that bye week, I think Zay Flowers doesn't play. Or if he does, he's nowhere near 100%. He didn't practice at all last week. He didn't practice last week. We're missing some key guys out there. So, yeah, this bye week was needed. And I don't know if you guys saw what I saw. The brace is off on Kyle Hamilton.
That's big. That's major.
Yeah. big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Shout out to Cam the Baptist as well. Says PRP hashtag replay gang. Thank you for pulling up, bro. Yeah, I mean, he brings up a good point here. If you're not watching the live stream version of this episode of the Purple Rain podcast and you happen to be part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you so much for coming out to this episode. We love you guys just as much. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're new. And then also leave your comments down below if you want to chime in, join the conversation from this episode. We'd appreciate that. Okay. So let's go ahead and not mince any more words. Let's get into what we came here to talk about tonight, or whenever you may be listening to this, right? Ravens versus Texans. You guys always know how we start off the preview episodes. We start off with the I word report, right? The health report. We want to know who's healthy, who isn't. There was a lot of big news coming out of Ravens camp today on who is healthy, who's practicing in full, and who's not practicing at all. Some pretty big names. I'm gonna let my guy Alex go ahead and take over here. Alex, what are we looking like in terms of the health report between the Ravens and the Texans?
Yeah, so for the Ravens, unfortunately, we are all healthy outside of two players right now, and that's Marlon Humphrey and Tylan Wallace. They are officially ruled out. Mark Andrews is questionable. He has been full practice the past 2 days, but John Harbaugh said it is really up in the air, game time decision. And for the Texans, only Jerry Hughes is missing the game for them. Everybody else for them will be playing. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lose my mind over the Marlon I word because he wasn't there week one. It was more important for him to get healthy if we were to advance because nothing is given as us Ravens fans know. So if we were to advance, hopefully he'd be back for that. But looking forward to this game on Saturday. Getting Mark Andrews out there would be big, but having Owe healthy, Hamilton healthy, and then Zay Flowers as well healthy off the I word report, and possibly Mark Andrews back. Looking pretty good for us right now, I'll be honest. Would love to have Marlon out there, but Stevens, he's been an all-pro this year in my eyes, so why not show it for a couple more games?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. Marlon Humphrey dealing with that calf. Listen, man, we're gonna need our guys for this postseason run. So if we have an opportunity to sit him when we're not playing against, I guess what you could call a star-studded receiving group. Yeah, I mean, sit him if he's not 100%, right? And Brandon Stevens, I know he's been waiting for his opportunity to really have that, not that breakout game, but just that national TV, national spotlight game, right? Against Nico Collins, who will be the featured marquee receiver on that Houston Texans offense is coming up weekend. And he's going to be on him. Brandon Stevens, I expect him to shadow him, to be honest with you. Not exactly sure what Mike McDonald's plan is going to be, but it does kind of disappoint me that Marlon Humphrey, even after the bye week, right, even after not playing in week 18, that he's still not available. But it's indicative of the fact that this is a serious I word he's dealing with, this calf thing. So would rather err on the side of caution, and I understand what the Ravens are doing right now. In terms of Kyle Hamilton, I'm super excited for Kyle Hamilton, what you said about him. I mean, him not limping around or not having the brace at practice, that is absolutely positively huge. You guys know how I feel about Kyle Hamilton, my whole spiel on him. He's like the manager at your department store, at your retail store, right, who can do a little bit of everything. And I'm talking about a good manager because I know a lot of bad managers, right, at retail stores, department stores, things like that. But he's a really good manager, right? They might as well promote him to district manager at some point because he can do it all. Kyle Hamilton can do it all on defense. So good thing that he is back as well. Now let's see what some of the Rain Gang is saying about this I word report, Alex. Let's see. Black Daniel says Brandon Stevens, Ronald Darby, and Arthur Millette. I'm cool. The safeties backing them up. Just let Rock Sin. Let me see. Rock your baby good the Gatorade because he ain't it. Respectfully, I guess this is some slander to Rock Sin.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Jerry Jacobs from the Lions to come in from the Ravens next year and snatch that 23 off of Rock Ya-Sin. Because when I think of 23, I think of great players who have worn that, and Ya-Sin, he is not one of them this year. Now, I hope he proves me wrong and has a Kerry Williams type postseason and really turns it up, but I'd much rather not see him out there. I have faith in Darby, Millette, and Stevens, and then even Kyle Hamilton to drop down and get in the slot. So, yeah, hopefully we don't see too much of Rock Ya-Sin out there because he had a chance to really show up against the Steelers, and he was the one who got beat on that slant. I know Marcus Williams didn't help either, but he's been beat a couple of times this year. He made one good play against the Bengals in week 2, and since then it hasn't been sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah. I mean, the hope is that, we're not crazy thin at corner come fourth quarter of this game, or let's say, granted, we make it to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl, we're going to need some guys who can stand in that gap and stand well, stand tall. So hopefully we have someone who shows up. But Brandon Stevens is our de facto cornerback one going into this week, and I'm kind of fine with that. Maybe before the season started, I wouldn't be okay with that, right? But at this point in time, I'm good with that. He's kind of proven to me that he deserves that opportunity to be cornerback one. Okay. Let me see. We got the Don in the house. Don C, appreciate you for coming through. It says at Alex, at Sutton, at PRP Mods, the best on YouTube. Boz, K Dog, Mod Roosh, and Black Daniels, my people. Yeah, you already know, man. It's a big family here. We appreciate you. Max dropping the super chat donation, making it rain here early. Thank you so much, Max, for dropping the 5-piece in the chat. It says, since I ain't on the team, gonna be overconfident real quick. Ravens gonna win it, and it won't be close. Okay, that's your prediction. Okay. I like that. That. A lot of people are expecting the Ravens to blow out the Texans. I think we're -9.5 favorites, Alex. What do you think about that?
I just hope this team doesn't look at that and think it's going to be one on paper. But like you talked about, different team. You got to talk about Roquan Smith, which is the biggest reason why I trust this team. Even Lamar as well on offense, not taking anybody lightly. I thought it was really, to me, it may not have meant a lot to somebody else, but when Lamar said that CJ Stroud looked a lot better than him in his first playoff game, I'm like, wow, like, kind of just having that self-awareness, how his wasn't that good. Like, this guy in his first game looked that well in his playoff game, so you really can't take him lightly. But, we'll talk about his score predictions later. That's all I say.
Yeah, and I like what you brought up about the whole self-awareness thing, because I think that might have been what this team was lacking back in the 2019 season. I mean, we're on top of the world. Lamar Jackson in his first season as a starter, kind of taking the world by storm. There was just a lot of magic going around, not enough, not enough concrete, rock hard, solid facts and reasons why this team deserved to be a championship team. And we saw that in the divisional round against the Titans. So love how this team is locked in. Love how this team is self-aware, and love the super chat donation from Max Offit. We appreciate you, bro. A true Purple Rain pioneer. Thank you. Okay. Now it is time to go ahead and get into our matchup breakdown. So our Purple Rain preview, where we bring up the numbers as we normally would do. Kind of running through it here. This is kind of the season finale numbers of what the Ravens did this season, right? So throwing for 213 passing yards a game, which ranked 21st in the league. Rushing for 156.5, which is ranked first in the league. Not really many shockers there. Allowed 191 through the air per game and 109 on the ground per game. Scored 28.4 points per game, which is ranked third in the league, and allowed 16.5 points per game, which is ranked first in the league. So again, I just want to give a major shout out to this Ravens team, the coaches, the players, for accomplishing that. Those two numbers at the bottom of the Ravens stats right there. I mean, third in points per game and first in points per game allowed is not easy. It is not easy to be firing on all cylinders like that throughout the course of an 18-week season. It's just not. And I've never done it. I can tell you it's hard, and I've never even done it. That's how you know this shit's hard as hell. All right, moving on to the Texans. They threw for about 247 yards a game, which is ranked 6th in the league, and they rushed for 95.7 yards a game, which is ranked 25th in the league. They allowed 235 through the air and 94 on the ground per game. They scored 23.4 points per game, which is ranked 11th in the league, and they allowed 20.4 points to be scored on them per game, which is ranked 10th in this league. So, I mean, looking at these numbers here, it looks like they do have a little bit of a deficiency running the football, ranked 25th in the league and doing that. I think, although while I do think Devin Singletary is a little bit underrated coming into this game, we should be able to shut it down. We should be able to shut down a Devin Singletary. This is not a Derrick Henry, okay? This is not the running back where, the more carries he gets, he's going to get stronger. He's going to start to lean on you, so beware in the third and fourth quarter. No, this is not that guy. If we do not shut down Devin Singletary early in this game, I will be pissed off.
Agreed.
I will be royally pissed. But Alex, I really want to get your take on what you kind of take from these numbers here. Now that it is, the totality of the season is what we're looking at right now in terms of these numbers, these rankings. What can you foresee or predict happening in this game based off of the numbers over the course of the season?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna refer to what Hodog said. He was asking our questions on one Dalvin Cook, and I look at they've allowed 94.4 rushing yards a game, and the Ravens are averaging 156.5. If we can get over 150, I think that means we win. And I think Dalvin Cook will have about 60 to 75 of those yards.
Mm,
I really do. He obviously was brought up to the active roster. Melvin Gordon was cut, but Dalvin Cook to me still has a lot on the tires. But I'm looking at our rushing game against our rush defense. I mean, allowing under 100. I mean, you look at the Ravens defense, we're allowing 109.4, and we have a great defense. The fact that they're allowing 94.4, I really want us to attack that early and often. And a stat that I heard on GMFB in the 4 Lamar Jackson playoff games, you know how many points we scored in the first quarter?
how many?
0.
Mm,
That's 60 minutes of football, not 1 point.
that's
A
kind of
lot's changed.
yeah,
I'm talking first drive. I'm went 7 first drive. We talk
yeah,
about I'd be happy with 3, but 7 would this is the Todd Monken offense. I can see us putting up 7, but if we can really run down their throats, punch them in the mouth, get 7 the first drive, kind of set the tone because that's what we have not done in any of these playoff games in this new era of the Ravens. We have never set the tone. Haven't been comfortable. Not one of them. We've lost 3 of them.
yeah.
Even the Titans won. It
You're
came down to
right.
the end, and thank God Ryan Tannehill was just a bonehead and threw a pick to Marcus Peters.
Yeah. And you know what, Alex? I love the point that you just brought up, but you know why it's so important to jump out to an early lead and be aggressive against these teams that are looked at as underdogs against you? Because
So,
football is a very physical game, but it's also very mental as well, very psychological.
mhm.
You know what I mean? So when you bring two teams into a high stakes game like a playoff game, right? So when you bring two teams into a playoff game, right, and one team is as heavily favored, if that game starts out with the underdog kind of punching the favorite in the mouth, right,
Mhm.
all of a sudden the mindset switches in all the players' heads. All of a sudden, every player from the underdog team is like, "Hey, wait a minute, they bleed. Look, they're bleeding. We can kill them. We can do this." You know what I mean? And they kind of get that spirit, and there's energy that comes with that. There's life that comes with that. It's just natural. And then you have the favorite team who's like, "Oh, damn, we thought this was going to be a walk in the park today," you know? And they realize that they got to show up for work. They're not ready. We've seen it happen time and time again. We've seen it happen time and time again. I think it just happened this past Sunday with the Cowboys and the Packers. You know, Packers hop out to an early lead. They start feeling themselves a little bit. Rest is history. Happened to us in 2019 against the Titans. So my point is, and I guess we're talking about keys to victory now, right?
Yeah.
Get an early start. Be aggressive early
Yep.
against this team. Lamar Jackson against the Dolphins. What did he do first play of the game? Deep ball to Rashad Bateman.
Bang.
Didn't hit, but a
Nope.
deep ball to Rashad Bateman. And I love that sort of aggression because it's sending a message early, like, hey, look, we're not here to play with y'all at all. We are not here to play with y'all. So I definitely I definitely want to see the Ravens offense kind of push the pedal earlier in the game. That's going to be my first key to victory. Alex, I want to give you one more if that's okay.
I, I'm all ears.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Okay. One more key to victory from me, and make sure you drop your keys to victory down below in the chat, please. We want to bring those up on screen as well after we hear from Alex and myself. But my second key to victory, and probably my biggest one, I made a YouTube short today about CJ Stroud's biggest weakness.
Hmm.
Okay, and I'm not going to sit up here and say that this is going to be the one reason why we win this football game, but I think it's something worth noting. CJ Stroud is a warm weather quarterback traveling to a very cold weather area, playing against a team who's accustomed to playing in that cold weather. By the way, it's supposed to be the coldest it's ever been this coming up week in Maryland. Not ever been, but coldest this season. I'm sorry. But the coldest this season in Maryland this coming up weekend. And the Ravens are going to have to play in that, and so are the Houston Texans. Now, if you look at the history of CJ Stroud playing in cold weather games, the last one he played was against the New York Jets a couple of weeks ago. And he did leave that game with an I word. He got hurt, but I mean, I think he threw for like 93 yards. Did not look good. Did not look good. And you can go
He
back.
threw it 20 sometimes as well.
Yeah.
That wasn't a first quarter.
What? No, didn't get hurt in the first quarter. No, just didn't look good in that game. Didn't look good in that game. Okay. This kid's from California. He plays football professionally in Texas in a dome. You know, like it's going to be tough for him. So my key to victory here, right? My key to victory: defense. Mike McDonald, get after this kid early. Okay, the Texans allowed 0 sacks against Myles Garrett and company last week. We cannot have that. Okay, can't have that. Get after him. I don't care if you have to send Kyle Hamilton early off the edge. I don't care if you have to send Arthur Millette early off the edge. Put CJ Stroud in that cold turf and make him feel that early in the game. I promise you it'll rattle him. I promise you it'll rattle him. And if you don't believe me when I say that CJ Stroud doesn't really like cold weather, then maybe you can backtrack to an article that, from an interview that he took when he was at Ohio State. He said he has a love-hate relationship with playing in the cold. A love-hate relationship. And he says he wishes all teams had domes, especially the cold weather teams had domes.
Yeah.
Doesn't like playing in cold weather. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. He just doesn't. So I feel like if that defense is able to get after him early, put him on that cold turf, right? Sack him a couple times, beat him up. He's not going to feel comfortable just hanging back in that pocket and lofting up 30, 40 yarders to Nico Collins or Dalton Schultz. You know what I mean? I just don't see that happening. So that's going to be my second key to victory. And I also want to know, Alex, what are your keys to victory for this game?
So my first one, obviously, scoring in the first quarter. My second one, though, I remember the first game of the season. I don't want to put too much stock in that game. We did win 25-9, but the teams have just changed so much. But there was a play. There was, I believe, the only interception in the game. Lamar threw it. Throwing to Zay Flowers, kind of threw it behind him. I don't want us to force anything, honestly. If it's not there, Lamar, you are gifted. You are the best athlete on the field. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Escape, throw the ball away. Just don't force it. I think he knows that. I think he's much more mature now. But just protecting the football. There's a reason why Melvin Gordon got cut. There's a reason why Dalvin Cook is now on this roster. Fumbles, turnovers. Gus Loki had a fumble in week 18. Justice Hill, he's had his fair share of coughing the ball up. Two hands on the football. We are an explosive team. Like you say with the whole underdog stuff, please tell me, what do the Texans have to play for right now? They weren't even supposed to make the playoffs.
Right.
Them above 500 was a successful season for D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud. Them winning a playoff game is already enough. They don't have to play for anything. They can just go out there, say, you know what? F it. Whatever happens, happens. The Ravens have a lot to lose. So you give them just a hint of just hope and glimmer. It can go the wrong way. So definitely going to protect that football.
Absolutely. And I see a couple people in the chat kind of saying the same thing here. We got another super chat donation. This one's coming from the Don. Thank you so much, Don, dropping the 5-piece in the chat, making it rain here on episode 220 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you're new. The Don says, why are they pushing the Lamar has to win a Super Bowl narrative to get the critics off his back? Nobody else is judged like Lamar. It's sad.
Yeah. It's Thursday, Don, and there's they're running out of things to talk to before the game. Like Nick Wright, actually, I will not be fooled by his tricks anymore. All right, he had this whole tier list of the quarterbacks. He had CJ Stroud above Lamar in the playoffs. He had Jared Goff on tier 1, which low-key kind of disrespectful considering Goff has gotten a Super Bowl. I'm not going to talk about Jared Goff right now, but this is the same Nick Wright who has also he predicted the Ravens to miss the playoffs in the beginning of the year. There's a little bit of there's a message behind this stuff. They kind of don't want to be wrong. Nobody likes being wrong, but when you're wrong, you just prone a downfall. That's what kind of trying to do with the Ravens, I think. I was going through some clips last night. NFL Network, they had us going 9-8. Another guy had us finishing last in the division. They said our offense wasn't going to be good. They said our defense had no identity. So that's why you see stuff like that. Nobody likes being wrong, do they? But when you're, watched by hundreds of thousands of people, you don't want to be the donkey of the day, basically. So that's why I think that.
Yeah, I did see what Nick Wright had to say, but I also saw what Dan Orlovsky had to say as well about this whole situation.
I didn't see that.
And I agreed with what Dan Orlovsky was saying. People who he was saying basically people who look like Lamar Jackson, sound like Lamar Jackson, and play quarterback like Lamar Jackson were never supposed to be winning Super Bowls in this league. That wasn't the kind of like idea of what a Super Bowl quarterback, the best of the best in this America's National Football League, was supposed to look like. You know what I mean? So around every corner, he's going to have the goalpost moved. So if he wins MVP, it's like, okay, he won MVP, but he hasn't won a bunch of playoff games. If he wins his second MVP and makes the Super Bowl but loses, like, okay, well, he got 2 MVPs, has a Super Bowl appearance, but he lost that Super Bowl. So how good is he really? The jury's still out on him. That sort of thing. It seems like Lamar Jackson, he does have to work twice as hard to receive half of the credit as a lot of these other guys get. And that's just the nature of this game. That's just the nature of kind of like just old regimes, like the football world is. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them are kind of stuck on their laurels and get off my lawn, and we've seen that with the criticisms that have come down the pike for Lamar Jackson over the years. So, and basically, do I agree or not that he has to win a Super Bowl this year to get the critics off his back? I do. I do think he has to win a Super Bowl to get the critics off his back, because that's the very last thing. That is the very last thing that critics can literally hold over his head, and they won't hold it over Josh Allen's head or Justin Herbert or
No.
Trevor Lawrence, guys like that, because like they look the part, for lack of better words. They just do. And Lamar Jackson, he's always gonna have to fight through this. So yeah, he's gonna have to win a Super Bowl for us, for me, and Simply AS10, and Mod K Dog, Lisa Ann, Killer Cam, Spooky J, Black Daniels, all Mod Boz, even though he's a Steelers fan, all you guys in the chat, we already know. The Don, we already know. He doesn't have to prove anything to us. They don't have to prove nothing to us. Lamar has to prove nothing, zero, to real Ravens fans or people who actually follow football. You know what I mean? But to the critics, the masses, right, the people who don't closely follow him, the people who only watch him play in playoff games or primetime games that they happen to catch, yeah, that criticism is still going to be out there. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know how to follow that up right now. I mean, that's kind of just taking the words out of my mouth. And I talk about this, I've talked about it before, but like this team this year, like after watching the first round of the playoffs, like, I mean, yeah, there were some convincing wins, mainly in the NFC, but like in the AFC, I look at that teams like this could be the Ravens' chance. Like, you're not going to get this chance again. And Patrick Queen was in the lounge today. I highly advise you to watch it. Love hearing him talk and kind of just saying, like, we know that this team will never be the same again. A lot of guys hitting the free agency market. You want to talk about all the free agents? Clowney, Van Noy, Millette, Darby, Queen, Matabike, Geno Stone. That's damn near over 50% of our defense right now starting. So, like, this is our chance. If you can go out and do the damn thing, you do the damn thing this year. I don't think the AFC will be like this again for a couple of years, guys coming back. So take advantage of it and just win the whole fucking Super Bowl. That's really all I got to say.
Yeah. That's how you shut them up. That's how you shut everybody up about anything that they have to say about you, your team, you as an individual player. Win that chip. Period. Win the chip. Okay. So moving right along here, as you guys know, we normally pull up the unit strength. So
There
right,
it is.
the trenches, right? We got to see how these teams are in the trenches, and you guys can kind of go ahead, take scope of that for yourselves. What I mainly pull from this right here is the Texans pass rush, right? The Texans pass rush is right there with ours, if not better, as you guys can see listed in this chart here. They've got some dudes. They've got some dudes on that defensive line who can rush the passer, and we saw it in week 1 with Lamar Jackson. He got sacked 4 times by this unit, and that cannot happen. That's going to be one of the other keys to victory as well. Tackle play, right? I'm looking at Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Moses and Makari if he comes in the game and cycles out with Stanley, right? These guys got to be ready to go. This is the biggest stage of them all. The next 3 games are the biggest stage of them all. Like, forget the Super Bowl right now. One game at a time, right? Like, give Lamar Jackson, give your MVP quarterback a chance to be an MVP. That's really all it boils down to. That's really all it boils down to. Do your job, and we will be fine. What are your thoughts, though?
Yeah, I'm just kind of agreeing with you once again. One thing I am looking at, though, is, I guess, kind of the run blocking, too. What you bring up about Devin Singletary, no disrespect. I think he's a good running back, but we're talking about when we played Derrick Henry. Just how different that was. If we can shut that down and make him throw the ball, I like her chances of picking it off. think it was Black Daniels. CJ Stroud doesn't throw a lot of picks, but I saw him throw 3 against the Cleveland Browns, and I'll be honest, I think we have a better defense than them. So why not? That was obviously no, it wasn't against the Browns. It was against I think the Cardinals. He threw 3 picks. I'm sorry. I think we have better defense than the Cardinals. So make him, throw interceptions. We have Marcus Williams back there. We have Geno Stone who had 7 picks this year. Hell, Brandon Stevens found his hands this year. He was dropping these picks last year and 2 years ago. Ronald Darby, what do you have for me? We have Roquan Smith making one-handed interceptions. We have Patrick Queen picking it off and running it. Like, make him just throw bad throws. Make him uncomfortable. And as for Lamar, you keep him comfortable. Sky's the limit.
Right. Exactly. And even if Lamar Jackson does get uncomfortable, he can still make something happen. I think that's what makes him the most valuable player in this league. But yeah, you guys see it there. Let's go ahead and get into some score predictions, shall we? Let's go ahead and guess what we think
Why not?
The outcome of this game will be. I have the Ravens winning. Spoiler alert. Okay. I've got the Ravens winning this one. I've got them coming out with a vengeance, man. Like, all this coming out flat and being rusty after the bye week. The Ravens have been listening to it, right? They've been listening to it all week. And it may not seem like, these guys are tuned in to what the media is saying, but I promise you there's 24 hours in a day. I promise you they know what's going on, especially since a lot of these guys are like me and Alex's age, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Ravens in this one, and I think it's going to be one of those statement playoff games. I'm going to go 33-13 Ravens.
Woo!
I'm predicting a blowout in this one. I could be dead wrong, right? But I'm going to go 33-13 Ravens. I just think that we come out swinging, right? We score a couple of touchdowns, take a nice lead, kind of sit on that lead for a while, lean on them, score a late touchdown. And yeah, I mean, they score a couple garbage time or maybe one garbage time, and we go home.
Wow.
That's my prediction, though. 33-13.
Wow. The same team that blew out the Browns last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do agree with you. I have the Ravens winning. Have us winning 34-16. Or if not 30-16. I don't want to sit here and discredit the Texans at all because I think they're a good team.
Yeah, they are.
But right now, if this Ravens team is truly serious, if we do have this amazing defense, we have this great offense, then there's no reason why we shouldn't win by this amount. I want us to win, obviously, even if it's a Justin Tucker field goal with no time left. My heart wouldn't like that, but as a Raven fan, you have to sit here and this team has it all. I think you got to go with the Ravens, and I'm gonna pick them. I don't usually pick blowouts, but this team will. This is a different team. I think it is, and they're gonna do the thing. And we're wearing the purple jersey with the black pants, and Jacoby Jones is a legend of the game. How can you not sit here and not put a show on? And Ray Lewis is going to be there. Cal Ripken's going to be there.
I'm really looking at the defense in this one. I know what the offense. I kind of have a good idea of what the offense is going to bring, but I want that defense to really rattle the Texans. You know what I mean? I think that's the scariest part about this team. I don't think it's Lamar Jackson. I think it's the defense. Because there's a lot of other teams in this league who have talented quarterbacks who can go bar for bar with you when it comes to scoring points. We've seen it happen with the Chiefs. We've seen it happen with the Bills, but to have that vaunted, that stout defense that will not allow you to do that. It's like, oh yeah, we got an MVP quarterback who's going to go out there and torch you, but no, you're not about to trot out your franchise quarterback out there and score on us. No, we got one of the best defenses. In fact, the best defense in the league, number one in points per game allowed. I got us. Simple as that. J1213 says 31-17 Ravens. We saw you guys score predictions in here. Listen, if you're not watching live, you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Thank you so much for coming out to this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Drop your score predictions down below. We got Pawn Shop 84 in the house. Thank you for coming through. It says Texans for the win. Yeah, thanks for coming through, bro. And you drop a score prediction. Okay. Let's see. I want to see what you guys are saying here. Let me see. We got Corrupt Capone 007 says your team has been off 3 weeks, no
Mhm.
practice, no nothing. That's a long time off in the NFL.
Whew.
That's true. They didn't
It
start to
is.
train until they knew who they were playing. If you come out lagging, the Texans win. And see, this is where I'm hoping the cold weather comes into play, right? Because I'm hoping the rust from the Ravens, is kind of compensated for by the Texans having to warm up first. You know what I mean? I'm kind of joking. I'm kind of being facetious a little bit here, but I mean maybe I'm
I'm
not.
gonna
All good news contain true shit. Go
I'm
ahead,
gonna
bro.
have to disagree. We
Okay.
practiced last week as if it was a normal week. We had a stadium practice on Saturday, and they started studying for the Texans the minute after they beat the Browns.
Mm.
John Harbaugh said that they were game planning and studying them the minute the Browns lost to the Texans. They said it only would have changed if the Steelers won. We already had game planned the Steelers for the week before, so no, um, no,
You
we've
said
been
no.
practicing.
I'm not gonna
We're,
let you get that one off.
I'm sorry, no. Much respect to the Texans,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh, as much as that guy pisses me off, for these next 3 games, I will be, or hope this next game and hopefully next 3, I will be the biggest John Harbaugh supporter. I'll be behind him. I'll be behind this team, and I might even be there Saturday, freezing my ass off to watch this team. Still
Really?
debating
Like
whether to
pulling up the
go.
game? Okay.
I'm bro. I'm debating it because it is cold as a pitch out there. Like my knuckles are frozen. I have to put lotion on. I forgot my chapstick today. My lips are like burning. Yeah, like I
Man,
have a ski mask ready if I do go, because that's the type of energy I need the
bro,
Ravens on.
if you got the ski mask, you're all set. I know you got a nice coat, right? You throwing a hat, you'll be straight, bro. Go to the game. Go to the game. We're gonna need that energy. We need that energy.
Tickets are
Or at least consider it.
120 if you're thinking about going.
That's
Get the
really
bank
not
loud.
bad. That's
And my
really
thing
not
is,
bad for a playoff game.
I don't want to sound like that, but I don't want you to go to the game, the people there, and if somebody tells you to be quiet, you turn around, look at them, and say no.
Yeah.
This is a playoff game. Take off your Patagonia vest, your Patagonia jacket. All right. Take your fucking wine and cheese and
Right.
shove it up your ass. All right. This
Your
is a
Canadian
playoff
goose.
game, bro. We have never hosted an AFC Championship game. Fuck you. With all due respect, I will be loud. I will scream. I
Ooh.
will stand up. I paid for these tickets. I'm no, because apparently that's how it was the Dolphins game. The Bengals
I
game when I
heard.
was there was loud as hell. And how many pre-snap penalties were there? Multiple.
Mm.
Come on
That
now.
Rams game was loud
It is a
too.
playoff game.
Not gonna lie.
If you're not trying to lose your voice, don't even go to the game. Not trying to be the fan police, don't go. Don't go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I agree. We need all hands on deck, right? I know you guys have watched, some of you guys have probably watched Dragon Ball Z. Remember when Goku used to do the Spirit Bomb, right? He had to draw the energy from everybody else in the world, right? In order to make it happen. I think that's what we need. We need that. Um, Let me see. So we got another super chat donation. This one's coming again from the Don. This is the second time donating tonight. We appreciate you, bro. Says, fun fact, Texans are 0-7 at the bank historically. I think we are going to beat the brakes off them boys.
Oh,
Mm,
that scares me a little bit, but hey,
mm.
why not make it 0-8?
Yeah, exactly. 0-8 sounds good. I think number 8 can make them go 0-8
Oh,
Saturday night. I think that's what's gonna happen.
oh,
But thank you so much again for your super chat donation. The Don, we appreciate you. A true Purple Rain pioneer. Got Spooky J's going to the game. Says we live in section 522, baby.
oh.
No, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
Love
about,
that.
Spooky J.
Love
Appreciate
that.
that.
I know
Absolutely.
Spooky J will be loud. I know he'll be screaming. I know he'll be
Oh,
coming
yeah.
home Saturday at around 8 o'clock with no voice.
No voice.
I know.
No
I know.
voice.
Come on. No
Zero voice. That's what I'm talking about, Spooky J. We appreciate the support. Lisa said she's in a warm house. She's in a warm house. I respect that too.
Yeah.
I respect that too, Lisa. Make sure you still get loud though. You be predicting them blowouts, so we need that support.
Yeah, we need that.
You know?
She predicted the Dolphins one. I need another one. Come on.
Yeah. We got Corrupt Capone chimes back, says defense and offense had been off. You're missing your cornerback. Didn't know we just had one. You haven't been practicing at all. Don't lock up and blow out hamstrings. Just saying you're not ready. We are battle ready. Lamar is 1-3.
Ooh.
Spicy, right? Spicy tonight.
I like it.
I like
I
it.
like it.
I like it.
I haven't felt this since 2020.
Right?
Oh my god.
The hostility, man. Capone. First of all, like I said, I wasn't aware that we only had one cornerback, to dress for game days. I don't know if you've ever heard of a Brandon Stevens, but he has been our breakout corner this year. Even with Marlon Humphrey on the field, he's still been playing really well. He's seatbelt, click it or ticket, that sort of deal, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of names that you probably don't know at the moment, Capone, that you will hear on Saturday. So make sure you stay tuned in. Not sure if you're going to the game, but make sure you stay tuned in and turn your TV volume up pretty loud so you can hear those names. Maybe throw on the captions too, subtitles.
He's
Okay. Yeah.
It's Buck and Aikman because we're on ESPN.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ESPN ABC.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. Mod Boz says the bank will be booming. Yeah, bro.
Boz, why don't you come? Why don't you come, Boz?
Yeah,
I'll pay for your ticket. I'm being dead ass right now. I would pay for your ticket if you come.
Okay. Hey, look, the offer's on the table, Boz. The offer's on the table.
See, no. So I actually offered to take Boz. I want to go to the Commanders and Cowboys game in Week 18. He didn't think that the starters would be playing. So Boz, 20-degree weather. Let's come on now. Who says no?
Yeah. Who says no?
I got a Ravens jersey you can borrow. Come on, Boz.
That is funny. That is funny.
Instead of the kids eating tonight, the kids' portion of food, the money that I'd be paying for that, it will be going to fund Boz.
Yeah. Black Daniel says, bro, I'm telling y'all, the Texans podcast have been going crazy, and I respect it. Talk your shit, fam. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that regardless.
I want to be respectful because I was very cocky in 2019 before I started any of this, and that kind of I ate my words. I knew Derrick Henry was like that, but until you see it in person, so I think me and Sutton we're some very level-headed Ravens fans. We didn't have us going 17-0. You had us 13-4. I had us 12-5. You had us losing a couple games this year, so did I. We know it's a one-game season, so anything can happen. They have nothing to play for, nothing to lose. So that's a dangerous team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry if you hear my dog chiming in the background. He's ready for this week's game as well. Okay. So we gave our score predictions. We gave our keys to victory. We did the I word report. Needless to say, it looks like we're thinking the Ravens are going to take this one. That's what we hope, right? It's going to be a great game regardless. It's going to be a great game. And I love CJ Stroud. I think that he's been absolutely balling out. He's going to be yet another dude at quarterback in the AFC, along with Josh Allen and Burrow, and of course Lamar, and maybe Herbert can step it up. Who knows? But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game, but I do foresee the Ravens winning. Now, we do have another super chat donation. This one's coming from our guy, Chike. Thank you so much, Chike, for dropping the 2-piece in the chat. Says, I better see some number 52 dance pregame, Sutton. Hey, man. Yeah, you might catch me. You might catch me on your local timeline hitting that squirrel dance, but only if we win the Super Bowl, though. I only go that far if we win the Super Bowl. I'll record myself doing that, or maybe I'll hit like the Park Heights strut, or I'll hit a two-step or something like that. I don't know.
I may or may not have been looking at a video on how to hit the Park Heights strut last night. I got a long ways to go. Get
it warmed up, man. I'm telling you. I foresee some celebrations in our future. I do. Okay, I'm being optimistic right now. We'll give it time. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the rest of the matchups, right, from this divisional weekend. Last weekend was some good matchups, some fun matchups. So you guys know what we do, right? We got to bring up how we did on our picks last week. And listen, man, I did not do all that well. I went 3 for 6, 50%. But our guy Simply AS10 up here, 83%, only missed on
and boys, pick. America's team, man. America's freaking team let me down. I should have expected it. Ravens, do not be like them. Don't be like the fucking Cowboys, man. I next year, I don't want to hear about it. I don't care how good Dak's playing. I don't care about Mike McCarthy. They are frauds until further notice. Also, Eagles, Mr. Perfect. Nick Sirianni, NFC East. Bro, NFC least. That was embarrassing from both teams.
Oh, yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. They really did not put a good showing on at all, either of those teams. But I think the more surprising one was definitely the Cowboys. A lot of people expected the Buccaneers to go in there and, give the Eagles that work, especially since they were literally stumbling into the playoffs. And in that game, I would have been sick to my stomach watching that game as an Eagles fan, to be honest. Just looking at Jalen Hurts' face, guys going at him, things like that. People talking about the coach needs to go. I'd be livid. But as a Cowboys fan, though, man, depending on how old you are, you've got some crazy allegiance to this team. Remember what Cat Williams said? Like, you have an unnatural allegiance to losers. It's not like you. You know what I mean? That's what Cat Williams said famously a couple of weeks ago on Club Shay Shay podcast. The Cowboys fans who are 28 years and younger, you have an unnatural allegiance to losers. You do. You just do. Because every year it's the same thing. It's the same thing, bro. I was at a brunch, right, on Sunday with a lot of people that I did not know, but a lot of people in there were Cowboys fans. A lot of them in there were Cowboys fans. And, this was before the game. They're saying, oh, yeah, we're Cowboys fans. This is our year. We're going all the way, this and that. And remember from last Thursday's episode or last Friday's episode, I picked the Cowboys to win that game. So I was telling these people at the brunch, I'm like, yeah, y'all will probably win. I'm picking y'all today. Second quarter of that game, and they're down, 26-0. I see people in shock. I'm talking about men, women that were there who claim to be Cowboys fans in shock, jaw on the floor. And I'm just like, we have to expect this every year from the Cowboys at this point, right? They choke. There's so much pressure. And you know what they say about pressure? It either bursts pipes or creates diamonds. It's been bursting their pipes for the last 3 decades. What needs to change for the Cowboys, in your opinion?
Their owner, GM. Let me step back. I think the coach number one. I think Jerry Jones having, this is just me personally, having a radio show where your GM talks about, like, imagine if Eric DeCosta every week went on 105.7 The Fan and talked about the Ravens. Imagine that. I think fans would just pick every little sentence he'd say apart, and it would just bring more unnecessary drama to the Ravens. Look at the Ravens when we had all that drama with the Lamar contract. It wasn't healthy. It was a toxic fan base. I know everybody here remembers that.
Oh, yeah.
Look at it since he's gotten that contract. It's been sunshine and rainbows for the most part. We got our shiny new receivers. Our defense is number one. We were the 1 seed. Like, you don't have to be in the spotlight 24/7. I'm looking at the quarterback as well. He dropped the absolute stink fest. I think for him doing that, I think he just sends CeeDee Lamb to the Baltimore Ravens for a 7th round pick as a repercussion. I think that has to happen. But yeah, the Cowboys, they're low key in shambles, but they'll make it to the playoffs again next year, and we'll be having the same conversation in 365 days.
Yeah. I think it's the main thing is the quarterback, man. I made a tweet about it the other day. Josh Allen had made a play recently where, he escapes the pocket, rolls out, and makes a crazy last-minute throw for completion to move the sticks. And I literally thought to myself, like, there's no way that Dak Prescott makes that play. And that's the issue right there. That's the issue. You cannot be you cannot be a statue in that quarterback. And I know Dak Prescott, he's got some mobility to him, but his escapability, I don't even think it's on the level of a Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? Like, he's not even on that level when it comes to escapability, like getting out of the pocket, keeping the eyes downfield, making something happen. He is not an X factor player, is what I'm trying to say here. He's not an X factor player. And if you do not have an X factor player, I'm sorry, but it's going to be damn hard for you to consistently win these playoff games and reach Super Bowls and have the success long term.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other issues as well. Lots of other issues that are going on with the Cowboys. But man, guess we'll see him next year. Other games that happened last week before we get into our picks, right? Chiefs taking out the Dolphins. A little bit too cold for the Dolphins, right? Tua doesn't have the physical prowess to play in January, I don't think, to be honest with you. But what did you think about that game?
Kind of everything I expected. I didn't expect the Dolphins to have a chance. That happened. But don't worry. Talia will be backing up Tua next year in Miami. So that's going to be fun. Did you take anything from it? I mean, I think you expected the same thing as me, not a close game. Chiefs to win.
Yeah, I expected the Chiefs to win like pretty easily, and they did. The other matchup that really intrigued me that I also got wrong, Rams and Lions. Your guy Jared Goff and company. They
Jared fucking Goff.
Yeah. I'll let you take the floor on this one. What'd you think?
Fucking love. Finally, Jared Goff in a playoff game remembered he has a set of nuts, and he was slinging that ball One thing I do want to say though, I thought Matt Stafford had a concussion at the end of the game. You see that video when his head hit the ground, like he's just standing, like staring up at the ceiling.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
That was scary. But one thing I tell you what, man, Matt Stafford's a damn good quarterback. I cannot believe there's a time in my life where I doubted his ability. He is fucking talented.
Oh yeah.
What he does with the football. I mean, unfortunately, they lost because of their red zone efficiency. Ravens, look at that, man. Got to score 7 instead of 3 to lose your games, because I thought the Rams were the better team that night. And honestly, I thought Stafford was a better quarterback that night.
I mean, I think that's a good point. There is a lot of lessons to be taken from the Super Wild Card round if you're a Ravens team, right? When it comes to that Lions game, right? When it comes to that Cowboys game, like you can look at those games and say, we do not want that to happen to us. And I thought that was another advantage of us having this first round bye. Kind of gives our coaches that reminder as well. Like, hey, stay locked in. You have to have these guys ready to play, you know?
Yeah.
One other game I wanted to touch on. Where's Mod Boz at? Mod Boz is in here. He's in here. Oh, perfect. Here we go. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Steelers losing to the Bills, man. I mean, not a lot of people expected the Steelers to win, of course, but man, letting Josh Allen just run all over you like that wasn't very Steelers-like. You know, they shot themselves in the foot a bunch of times in the early half of the game. Kind of made it close towards the end, like in the third quarter, that sort of thing. But man, I don't think Mike Tomlin's the problem. I just think that it was a failure of a season for the Steelers because they did not figure out quarterback. If you figured out quarterback, there'd be light at the end of the tunnel, but you didn't. Mason Rudolph will not be the starting quarterback going into next season. I promise you that. So I think that this season was a failure. What did you think? What did you make of the Steelers?
See, Paz, you know me, all right, and I think I'm not going to sit here and talk as a Ravens fan about the Steelers. I'm just going to ask questions. When the season was we're going into the preseason, all I kept hearing about was fucking Darnell Washington.
Didn't do a damn thing.
What? I was told he was going to be like the steal of the draft. Now, maybe it's just the Steelers not knowing how to use him, and that's very true. But I kind of was sold because in the preseason, Kenny Pickett in that offense scored like every drive, scored a touchdown every drive. They were looking good. I think if I'm a Steeler fan, you got to get the offensive coordinator right. As for the quarterback situation, I don't know what's going on with Kenny Pickett. I really don't know. You might want to call up Chicago. Hey, what do y'all want for Justin Fields? He's at least, can show you something. If they draft Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of fixing. I think Deontay Johnson's going to leave. I don't think they use Freiermuth correctly. I think I think Freiermuth can be a top 5 tight end. I don't think they use him correctly. And they have an aging defense right now, and you got to get that fixed up. But you can leave Patrick Peterson in Buffalo. Tell you can do that, Boz. But yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, man.
I took the Steelers spread, so we both were losers on the day.
It'd be like that, bro. It'd be like that. Steelers, get it together. Get your shit together. We'll see y'all next year. Okay.
He says draft
Alec.
Penix. Get a new punter.
I saw.
Punting is the least of your problems, Boz. Trust me.
Facts. All right. Wait, isn't there a punter the black guy? Isn't he a black guy?
Oh yeah, Presley Harvin.
Yeah. That's his name. That's right. Reminds me of Marquette King. Anyway,
Marquette King was funny.
He was. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to some picks for the divisional round, shall we?
Let's talk about it.
All right. So you guys know what we do here at the Purple Rain Podcast. Listen, if this is your first time watching or listening and you're enjoying the content you are currently consuming, first of all, thank you. Second of all, make sure you take some time to like the video and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. We'd appreciate that so much.
Yes.
Thumbs up in the chat. Okay. So it is time for the divisional round pick segment on the Purple Rain Podcast. Should I cue the music? Where's K-Dog?
I think K-Dog might be. It's not here. It's okay. It's fine.
It's not here. Okay, well, it's cool. It's cool. In K-Dog's absence, my guy K-Dog, I will cue the music.
There it is.
Starting off, obviously, we have the Ravens
and the Texans. You pick the Texans. I mean, you pick the Ravens. I'm sorry. I picked the Ravens. So moving on to our Sunday night game. Let me pull it up right here. It is going to be, Saturday night. Packers and the 49ers. Packers, man, they look good. They look freaking good.
Damn good.
Man, CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Warner, Greenlaw, Bosa, Chase Young.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Niners. I do. But I'm going to be honest, I would not be surprised. Like, the Packers could be like that team that kind of shows you something. But I like the Niners in this one, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Niners in this one as well. They are kind of like the real version, right? If we're talking about, like, let's take a look at, like, designer brands, right? Take a look at designer brands. I think that the Cowboys would be the knockoff version of the 49ers. I do. Because you think about it, they both have really good pieces. They both have a good nucleus. It's just that there's a catalyst, right? That kind of shows you the difference in their value. And you can see it in the coaching. You can see it in how hard those guys go out and play for each other. And just certain position groups are damn near unstoppable for them. Like Christian McCaffrey in that run game is very, very tough to stop. Deebo Samuel in tandem with George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk, those are three of the best pass catchers in this league. Okay? Pass catchers, run after catch, whatever it is.
Talk about it.
Man, the 49ers, they're primed to make a Super Bowl run just like the Ravens are, to be honest. Yeah. And I have them winning this game. So, yeah, I'll go with the 49ers.
Yeah, the Packers and Aaron Jones, though, look good. I just think it's funny, man, that they let go of Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love.
Yeah.
You know, takes them to playoffs. Oh, man, anything to slander Aaron Rodgers makes me a happy man. Moving on to our Sunday game at 3 o'clock p.m. The Buccaneers heading up to Detroit, going to Motor City. You know who I have. What's that? Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with Detroit here. I'm gonna go with Detroit. I'm done doubting, you know, and I think this is the perfect week to do it, to be honest with you. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, I think, have been on a great run this year. I'm very happy for Baker Mayfield, actually. I think he's found a home. I think they're going to go ahead and pay him, lock him down there. Good for Baker, right? But I think this is where it all comes to an end. Dan Campbell has those guys fired up, and they have not made it this far in a long time, right? So I think that this is, I'm not going to say this is their year, right? But I do have them winning this game.
Yeah, I have the Lions winning as well. I'll tell you what, the Buccaneers can easily go in here and win this game. They are riding high on confidence. That's the type of quarterback Baker Mayfield is. High on confidence, he plays a lot better, and I'm happy for him. I like the swagger he brought to Cleveland. Obviously, he was a rival, but see him going elsewhere, I'm happy he's thriving. Now, when I'm talking about the Lions, man, if they can use Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs cooking the way he is, and the thing I love about their receivers is they always catch the ball and they look for contact, get the yards after catch. I'm on Ross St. Brown. You are him. Jameson Williams took his over on yards last week. Hell, Josh Reynolds had his revenge game against the Rams as well. And then Sam Laporta is playing with a brace on his knee. You couldn't even tell. He looked good. So yeah, give me the Lions. Jared Goff. Just keep proving them doubters wrong. I'm behind you.
Goofball.
Jared Goofball. And then moving on to our final game of the weekend. It's always like this matchup is just like, of course, Chiefs and Bills.
Yeah.
In Buffalo, it's like every single John Cena Randy Orton match growing up. Like they're gonna end up meeting, bro. No matter how many times, they're gonna end up fucking meeting.
That's a great.
Like the first time they were like, yeah, that overtime game, 2 overtime game. We got to see it again and again and again and again. And earlier this year was a Kadarius Toney offside fiasco. Why not see him in the playoffs again?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about, damn, this is a tough one. This is a very, very tough one. Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs in this one. I feel like they keep it close. I feel like late in the game, Josh Allen tries to do some more heroics that he normally would do, turns the ball over, puts the Chiefs in a favorable position, and I think that they take this one by 3 to 6 points. I do. So give me the Chiefs on the road, winning by a very small margin over the Bills.
I feel like I have to say the Bills now because we are on the same every single team. For the sake of it, I will, as I'm wearing a Maryland hat. It's Stephon Diggs, Maryland product. Um, Actually, no, I'm gonna say the Chiefs. Honestly, I think the Chiefs will win, and to be honest, I want the Chiefs to win.
Okay.
I want them to come to Baltimore. For me, as a Ravens fan, if we were to advance and we were to host a team, I want the Chiefs because to be the best team in the AFC, you have to beat the best team. The best team for the past 5-6 years. I know the Bengals made it,
Yeah.
but it's been the Chiefs. What 4 of the last 5 years that made the Super Bowl? I would
Right.
want them to come here. But yeah, give me the Chiefs. Give me Mahomes. He's gonna have some Mahomes magic. Romo's gonna be fucking glazing per usual. I was gonna be a glaze fest between him and Allen.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
and then bring Taylor Swift here. And
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
I would love that. I would love that.
Imagine Swifty at the bank is crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
I hope somebody throws a crab cake at her face. Gets her red lipstick everywhere.
I'll tell you one thing.
Mid-ass music.
I'll tell you one thing. Those tickets not gonna be $120.
Nope. No.
No,
Nope.
not at all. You can double that easily.
Bro, it's at 500 right now. 528. Section 500. You're paying. the
Is
amount of money.
crazy. Right, you're paying your seat number is wild. Like that's crazy.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. That's going to be our picks from this week. Hopefully, we can go 4 for 4. That would be nice. Like I said, again, you guys can see what we did last week. Alex was all over it, only missing one game, which I believe was the Steelers and Bills game, I want to say. But yeah. Wait, am I frozen?
Wow.
Can you hear me, Alex?
I can hear you good. Yeah, you're good. I'm sorry. The cheapest ticket for the championship game is $570 right now. Section 508, row 21.
Sheesh. Okay, then. All right. Well, again, if you want to support the home team, fork up the money, go out there, be loud as hell. I know you guys aren't going to spend all this money on tickets to go there and be silent. You know what I mean?
Right.
You better turn up.
Right.
You better turn up. But if not, if you're watching at home, again, the spirit bomb can still channel the energy from miles away. Just remember that. Miles away. So make sure you bring the energy no matter where you're watching the game, who you're with, bring that energy. All right. So as we are over an hour in, listen, we're going to go ahead and do our comments for the questions. Okay. Make sure you drop your comments or your questions down below in the comment section because we will be getting to those all weekend. Whatever you want to ask, right? Whether it be about this game coming up against the Texans or whether it be about any of the other 3 divisional round games, anything going on right now in your life, to be honest with you, drop it down below in the comment section as a question and we will respond. It's a therapy session. Exactly. It's the perfect way to put it. But again, I think my screen is a little bit frozen here, which is weird. But
I still hear you.
Listen, guys. It has been one hell of an episode, and we love you guys. It's been a very long season, and you guys have been rocking out with us since day one. I mean, I think this is our 3rd season doing this, 3rd full season doing this, I want to say. And we're in the playoffs again. We have an opportunity to make history, and we have an opportunity to experience that and witness that together, right? And that's why I appreciate, I know this guy appreciates the Rain Gang so much because we have these moments together, whether they be good or they be bad, and we come back on Monday and you know, we lost or we won. It's still going to be love. It's still going to be a great time. So enjoy your time watching these games. Truly, football is almost over, guys. It's almost over. So enjoy what you're seeing right now, these great games, because you just don't want to take it for granted. You don't want to take it for granted. The sport we love, it comes and goes yearly. Alex, you there?
I'm here. You could not say that any better. Wow. Yeah, Hodog has to jump. Really happy you're here, Hodog. It's been a minute since we've seen you. Come back more often. But yeah, like you said, it is a very, very short season. And next thing you know, we're going to be at the draft time. Then we're going to be talking about, me and you are going to be texting saying, yo, what are we talking about today on the stream? Because, you know, we have nothing to talk about. It's no mini camp. It's no training camp, no OTAs. It's going to be, what did Lamar Jackson post Instagram story? What is he doing for fun? You know, it's going to be something like that. So, yeah, thank you for being here with us. And hopefully we are talking about the next Ravens game for the next couple of weeks because that's what it's all about. I haven't experienced that in 10 plus years. So why not it be this year? Why not make it this year? That's really all I got though.
Yeah, and again, guys, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And with that being said, I'm gonna let my guy Alex take us out.
Yeah, thank you all for coming through to episode 220 of the Purple Rain podcast. Hopefully, we see you next on a Victory Monday. You can follow this guy on Instagram or on Twitter at Sutton Def. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. Our sponsor, Manscaped, go on there, use code PRP, 20% off your whole order. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
Yeah, and never ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This has been episode 220 of the Purple Rain podcast. Stay safe, guys. We're gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Dang it, I'm still frozen. God damn it. Hello, everybody still watching. My name is Sutton Def, and my screen got frozen, so we're gonna go ahead and end the stream. Again, love you guys. Make sure you follow us on Twitter or Instagram at our handles, right? Or on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.